Hi, my name's Nicole Smith and I'm with Keller Williams Realty in Jacksonville, Florida, and I'm here today to tell you what the 12 steps are to becoming a first-time homeowner. I know that this process can be a little scary, so step number one is make sure that you know you're ready to become a homeowner. And one way to know for sure is if you have the income to do it. If you don't have any income, then you can't become a homeowner. And with that process, when you're getting ready, you have to know where your W-2s are. You have to have your most recent pay stubs, and you also have to have your last tax return is usually something they'll always ask for. So make sure you have those things on the ready to go when you decide that this is what you want to do. And the other thing I would suggest is to really make sure that you're going to be staying in this location in this city for at least 2 years so you can get some equity into that house. The second step to becoming a first-time home buyer is to actually know what your debt to income ratio is. So if you know what your debt to income ratio is, then you will know that you have to be at least 50% debt to income ratio to qualify for a loan. And with that, it may be your car note, you may have some credit card debt, some student loan debt, or whatever. You have to look at your budget and see what you make and how much your debt is. And there is a calculation that you can do to figure that out. Now, step number 3 is to get credit worthy. So getting credit worthy is knowing that you have a credit score, what your credit score is. And your credit score has to be at least 620. And a lot of the lenders are actually looking for 640. So you may be going on Credit Karma or different sites like that, and they do not rate your credit score the same way that a mortgage lender would rate it. So go with that as a fine-tooth comb, that you do not want to rely on Credit Karma 100% to know if you are qualified for a mortgage. Step number 4 is to apply for a mortgage. And the way you should apply for a mortgage, in my suggestion, is to apply with a mortgage broker or mortgage loan officer. Some people do go to their bank institutions, which is fine, but that's not their specialty. When you go to a mortgage broker or mortgage lender, that is their specialty. That is the only product they sell. And therefore, they have a lot of resources and a lot of companies to choose from. So whatever best fits your needs is going to be met by going there. And once you do start applying for a mortgage, you have this window of time that you can actually shop around for a mortgage. So you don't have to go for the first person that pre-approves you. You can shop at several different lenders and see if you can get a better interest rate and better terms. So a lot of people actually do a 30-year mortgage because why not spread it out? And with the interest rates being so low right now, it makes perfect sense to spread that mortgage out 30 years and keep your payments down low. And some of the different loans you can actually apply for are VA loan, FHA loan, conventional loan, and a USDA loan. And with the USDA loan, you have to live in a certain area even to qualify for that. So that's not as prevalent in the city. It's more in a rural area. A VA loan, of course, you have to be a veteran or a former veteran to qualify to get that type of loan. A FHA is a first-time home owner's loan, which a lot of you may be in that situation. And that loan requires a 3.5% deposit. And a conventional loan, you can put a deposit down as low as 3%. And some people do more, and of course it's up to you what you want to put down, but there is a minimum for certain types of loans. And once you do qualify for a loan, what they'll give you is a pre-approval letter. And that pre-approval letter is what you need in order to start shopping for homes. Because if you don't have that and you do find a house you like, it's going to be very hard for you to get accepted with the offer if you don't have a pre-approval letter. The other great thing about having a pre-approval letter is it gives you an idea of what you can afford to shop for. But before you even start shopping and even getting pre-approved, Step number 5 is to save money for your down payment. If you don't save some money and have money for closing costs, you're going to be in a very hard situation. Now, there are programs out there to assist with down payment and closing costs, but some of those funds run out and they're not readily available all year round. So you have to consider that as well. So saving your money, and you're going to have some expenses like your home inspection, which is very important to do a home inspection. Then you need to hire someone like me. I'm a realtor, and we represent you as a buyer. You need representation. And the beauty of being a buyer's agent is if you hire a realtor to be your buyer's agent, you're not paying them to do the work for you. The seller of the home is paying that buyer's agent. So there's no money out of your pocket. So it's very important that you hire a realtor and make sure that you get along with them, that you have a very good rapport, a great communication. That realtor is going to go over all the steps with you. And they're also going to ask you, what are all your wants and needs? And once they break that down to you, they're going to ask what the top 5 is on your must-have list. And because no home is perfect and no home will have everything, you have to really concentrate on your must-haves. But the one thing I would always suggest is not getting too attached to that home until you actually get it. Step number 6 is, okay, you got to begin your house hunting. So once you've hired your agent and you're looking for houses, you have to realize that there's going to be certain things involved with that house, that your realtor is going to have a viewpoint and see things and look for things that you're not going to look for. You're going to look for things like, oh, I love the room size, I love the decor, I love the way it's laid out. But your realtor is going to look for, oh, I see cracks, I see leaks, I see holes, I see water damage, different things like that. So that's why it's a great idea once you start looking for houses to make sure your realtor's always with you. And you should never go to a new construction site without your realtor, because they will not have your best interest. And if you show up without your realtor will never be allowed to help you with that transaction, because that's how it works in new construction. And it's unfortunate, but those are the conditions that we're in at this time in this industry. Step number 7 is, once you do find a house, you put in an offer. And the way the offers work is your realtor will write up the offer. You have to put down an earnest money deposit, and that money deposit is typically due within 3 days. Usually the contract will state about 24 hours to make a decision whether they accept your offer or not. And some things that can occur is, 1, they accept it, which is great. 2, they do a counter offer, which means that they don't accept it fully, but they will accept it under these other terms. And 3rd, what they will do is completely reject your offer altogether. Step number 8 is, if they do accept your offer, then you can start negotiating. And you can negotiate only after you do your inspection. So you have to hire the appraisal, which I had mentioned earlier, and that is an out-of-pocket expense. That is not anything that can be rolled into your mortgage. So you make sure that you have some money set aside for that home inspection. And that home inspection typically costs between $250 to $550, which is worth every penny, because that home inspector is going to look for everything. They're going to go on the roof, they're going to go into crawl spaces, they're going to go into attics, they're going to look at every little nook and cranny of that home and find out what is wrong with it. And the beauty of that is, if there are minor repairs, you might not even really worry about it too much, but if there's some major repairs going on, that's when you have to go back to the seller and let them know what is going on with that home and renegotiate. So they have a choice where they can make the repairs or not make the repairs. Some houses are sold as is, and that means it's entirely up to you whether you want to take that house on with the repairs that need to be done. Sometimes they'll help you pay for the repairs. Sometimes they'll help pay for your closing costs. And sometimes they'll just make the repairs, and that's it. And the beauty of them making the repairs is your realtor will actually get copies of all the receipts and the work that's been done. So you'll know who repaired it and you'll have the information. So if anything should go wrong after the fact, then you'll be able to contact that company and have a conversation about that particular situation. Now we are moving on to step number 9. That's the negotiating repairs. So once we're negotiating repairs, the beauty of negotiating repairs is the price actually might go down for you. Because if there's major repairs and they know it, it doesn't matter, because another buyer is going to come and know those repairs once they do their home inspection. So typically at that point, it's worth it to the seller to figure out how to get those repairs done. So whether it's actually paying for them or giving you some money off that price so you can hire someone to pay for them, that's typically how it will work. So my next step is step number 10, which is the appraisal. Now, typically your mortgage lender is going to be hiring the appraiser, but it will show up on your closing costs because it will be written down on a line item that you're actually the one paying for it. It's just kind of great because it's not out-of-pocket expense. It's being rolled into your mortgage. And the reason why the bank has to hire an appraiser, they have to make sure the money they're lending you is for a valuable asset to them in case anything should happen. So they'll hire that home appraiser. The home appraiser will come out and do a thorough look through that home and actually look at all the homes around there that have sold recently and give the mortgage company that appraisal. You'll get a copy of it if the bank allows you. So then you'll know what it's appraised at. If it comes in above, that's great. That means you've already made money. You already have equity. And the seller can't up the price to what the appraiser says it's for because you're already locked into that price. So that's a win-win. If it comes in at asking, that's also a good situation because then the bank's just going to approve you and it's not going to be an issue. If it comes in below asking, then you may have to bring some extra money to the table or negotiate with the seller to see if they're just going to drop the price so that it can close at that appraised value. Step number 11, which is your final walkthrough. Now this step is very important. So right before your closing, you have to go back into that house to make sure that all the repairs were done so you can visually see it. And you have to go make sure that they didn't leave a bunch of trash there. And our last and final step is step number 12. Now that is the closing. And typically the closing is held at a title company or a attorney's office, a real estate attorney's office. And when you come to that closing, you have to have your final closing money. So 3 days before the closing, the mortgage lender is required to send you what your closing costs are going to be. And typically they'll want a certified money order or you can wire it to them, but you have to have your money at the closing table. You also have to have your legal driver's license ID with you. It's a must. You have to have it. All parties have to go there and it has to be a wet signature. So you have to be there to purchase and you have to sign the documents. And once you sign the documents, that house is yours. They give you the keys and that house is yours and you are now a home owner. So if you're ready to get out of paying money for rent, if you're ready to start building up equity for yourself, I would highly suggest you start investigating on how you too can become a homeowner. It is such a great feeling when you know you have keys to your own home and you can start building dreams and you can start living the dream and building the equity and have something to pass on to your children, an inheritance. It's a great feeling and I suggest you do it. So thank you, and I hope this was helpful, these 12 steps and all the little tips in between. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comment section. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, follow me anywhere you can. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I hope to see you again, friends, and have a great day. And remember, this is Living the Dream with Niki. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.